from the Mavericks standpoint, I want to see better shot making and less turnovers. Um, more. I don't want to see as much doubling on any player on Boston. Like I said, every so often, I think first play out or whenever the first time Jaylen Brown gets the ball, I throw a blitz double at him because man, he been having the ball in his hand less than Tatum, but he got more turnovers and he got a higher
Yeah.
turnover. He got a higher
Hmm.
turnover percentage. So it's like it's been times where they did kind of show a double, and he it was one time he threw a crazy pass to Tatum, and Tatum had to save it from going back court, but then Tatum ended up throwing a turnover trying to save it. So, and I've seen that a couple times where Jaylen Brown doesn't have the lane that he thought he has, and he gives up his dribble and he just throws it out. I'm like, you don't even check to see if the man open first, you just throw it. So I would, in my opinion, I would try to see at times throw a little blitz double at what's called Jaylen Brown to see how he reacts to it. But those are three things I say. We need better shot making, especially from the 3-pointer, less turnovers, and on the defensive side, just everybody has to be responsible for their man. But at times, let's throw a blitz defense at Jaylen Brown. And then from the Celtics standpoint, other than Tatum and White needing to do better for us from a shooting perspective, I'm keeping the same game plan. I have some adjustments just in case if the Mavericks change some stuff, but for the most part, I'm gonna come out the same way how we been coming out. Um, that's all. I mean, I Celtics could also do better for us shooting, um, but it ain't like they're missing wide open stuff because for the most part, Mavericks been doubling and the Celtics played either um, they've been making the shots or they've been missing, but it's been wide open shots most of the time.
Yeah.
So it ain't
It
like
was
it ain't.
just game two. Game one they was great from three. Game two they just kind of they started like 3 for 15. So
So yeah, only thing I can say from the Boston side is, like I said, Tatum and White just happen to be better from a shooting standpoint. But everything else, I kind of just I'm keeping everything the same. If
okay,
I'm a Celtics coach,
what's your prediction for game three? And then we'll go to Chris.
now I do expect a stronger showing from the Mavericks, um, and I think that Boston may come out a little sluggish on this game. I don't know for some reason. I just think they gonna be kind of taken aback uh, by just the pressure of being up 2-0. Now, some people might say they're not gonna have no pressure. How you got pressuring you up? But it's the hardest thing about winning, especially your first finals, is keeping up to holding on to that lead. So I think Boston might mess around. It might come down to the wire, I believe. But I think Mavericks gonna pull this one out. I think we're gonna get a better showing from Kyrie. I think if they make the adjustments on some of the bench adjustments I said earlier, I think that's gonna prove to work in their favor. So I think Mavericks gonna get this one. It's gonna be a close one, but I think Mavericks gonna pull it out.
All right, Chris.
Man, I just remember when Phoenix Suns went up 2-0 against the Milwaukee Bucks. Everybody thought Chris Paul was going to get his first ring. Boston Celtics just went up 2-0 against the Mavericks, and it's time for Tatum to get his first ring. But I think Luka and Kyrie have something to say about that. Let me tell you what's going to happen in this game 3. Kyrie is going to come out blazing hot. And then Luka is going to pick up from there, continuing that streak. Luka's going to be even more aggressive in this game than he was in game 2 when I said he needed to be more aggressive in order to force Boston's hand. Luka understood that was working well for them in the beginning. And so he'll continue that. He's going to force Boston's hand. The role players will be hitting their threes. PJ will be that third scorer. PJ may be even the second guy in this game. But let me tell you this, Mavericks are winning this game and I feel it strongly. And I'm not even saying that just because they have to win this game. I kind of just feel like Mavericks will win this game. Luka is not going to necessarily let somebody go up 3-0 on him. And if he does, he's not going to let somebody go up 3-0 on him. And Boston will come out and make it a game for about good three quarters. And then Mavericks going to pull away. Mavericks going to pull away in that fourth quarter. And it's going to be a big win by probably about 10-12.
I'm going complete opposite with you guys. I think I had Celtics in 6. I think it's gonna be Celtics in 5. I think Celtics gonna win game 3 in Dallas. I just think the talent gap is even worse than we thought because I've noticed the Mavericks offense is very one-dimensional. If you can't get 2 on the ball, you can't get catch and shoot threes. If you can't get the lob, Mavericks offense kind of looks horrible. Kyrie hasn't been playing great, and a lot of that is because he's been missing shots. A lot of that, too, is because you have Derek White, you have Drew Holiday, you have Jaylen Brown. It's not too many advantages for Kyrie. PJ is back to his regular bad shooting self from 3. He has been getting to the lane, and he has been finishing with that floater runner, and he's been a solid finisher. But when you're trading 2s for 3s, you're missing free throws. Guys are just not stepping up. Maxi Kleber was one of the biggest components of this, and he's damn near null and void. I just think the talent disparity between Boston and Dallas is just so glaring because we haven't even seen a good Tatum or Derek White game. We haven't seen a good Kyrie game, but we also haven't seen a good Tatum or White game. And
so you think the Mavericks? Go ahead. No, finish.
If you was gonna steal one, I think it would have been game 2 because Mavericks came out and they looked like they was prepared to take it, and just the talent gap is what just pops off the screen. Celtics have better two-way players. Everybody on the Mavericks seems one-dimensional. It's not one two-way player that I trust on the Mavericks to where it's like, oh, he's really good on offense and really good on defense. And it's about 4-5 guys I can say that for on Boston. And that's what I was worried about going in. The two-way ability of Boston versus the one-dimensional ability of Dallas. Because either somebody's good on defense, somebody's good on offense on Dallas. That's me personally. That's what it's looking like.
Why hold on? Why does Tatum get the benefit of the doubt and gets the nice shiny name tag of being a two-way player when on offense, scoring, shooting is a big part of offense? Granted, he's been facilitating and playmaking to an extent, but why does he get the shiny nameplate? And then on defense, he is not necessarily locking up anybody. If you look, Luka is going at him and he ain't stopping him. Luka's not even worried about him. You can say, oh, Luka's not a two-way player because he doesn't play defense. All he does is play offense. When he's playing off, he's doing great. The Tatum gets the fancy, shiny two-way player because he rebounds and he play makes, but he can shoot crappy, and everybody's still willing to give him that pass.
You know why? Because, yes, he's shooting 32 from the field. He's shooting 29 from 3. But he's still averaging 17 points and 9 assists. That means he's accounting for over 30-something points still, playing some of the worst offensive basketball. He's still one player accounting for over 30-something points. So it just is what it is. He's still a two-way player because he's accounting for over 30-something points in his worst possible scenario offensively.
Last game he had 18 points, but he assisted on 27. So that's 45 points he was responsible for.
What I don't want to hear is the things that Tatum is doing on the court is not more, even with Luka playing bad defense, is not more than what Luka is doing on the court. And I don't care.
No, Luka is pound for pound the best player in this series, but does it matter?
We're not saying he's playing better. We're just saying on both ends of the court, Tatum has impacted. You can't say
not
the
even
same.
Just Tatum. Everybody, Jaylen Brown, Kristaps Porzingis, Derek White. They have way more players that are two-way impacts than the Mavericks.
They starting 5 Porzingis ain't starting right now, but they have
even
5 players.
Even Horford.
I not gonna say he's
That's one thing that's making me upset about.
I ain't gonna say he's two-way, but I mean, he's shooting over 50% from the field and 37% from three. So it's like, you know, when he getting his opportunities, he's been good.
Man, if Kyrie would actually take advantage of that matchup and stop letting him, if more people would just take advantage of that. No, it is you, Kyrie Irving. You should not be letting Al Horford prevent you from doing what you want to do.
It's only two players in 2 games that scored over 30 points for the Dallas: Luka and PJ Washington. Luka 62 points, PJ 31 points. For Boston, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players that scored over 30 points. So it's just the talent gap, bro. In my opinion, is what's the biggest thing. And then
30 total points.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
And then you have over 4 players averaging over a block. So, and then you got two players averaging over 2 steals. So it's the two-way impact just pops on the screen to me. That's all. No offense. But yeah, man, I still think Celtics gonna win game 3. Mavericks gonna win game 4. Celtics gonna win game 5 at home, win the series. And Jaylen Brown gonna be finals MVP.
I don't think it's a lock that Jaylen Brown wins finals MVP if the Celtics do win.
I can say if he had a repeat of game 2, because he was kind of shaky in game 2. If he had a repeat of game 1 and game 2, I'd say he's leading by far.
Was he shaky in game 2?
He didn't have the best game in game 2.
At one point, he was shooting inefficient.
I didn't think he was bad.
And like I said off camera before we started recording, Jaylen Brown is only asked to go out there and do one thing on offense. He ain't asked to facilitate. He ain't asked to play make, because they already know. We know you putting your head down, going to the rim, or you trying to get your midi game going, or you gonna hit spot up threes. We know we not gonna ask you a 3-level scorer. That's what you is. You a 2-way 3-level scorer at that. But we ain't asking you to go out there and out rebound nobody. We ain't going out there to ask you to get no assists. Like we just need you to score the ball on offense. And on defense, we know what you're gonna do. You're a dog on defense. So that's why, like, at times in game 2, it was like, where's Jaylen Brown at? Because he really wasn't. He didn't get hot in game 2. Like, so that's what I was saying in that aspect.
I think game 2 is a Drew Holiday game for sure, but I still think Jaylen Brown was still the second most impactful player because he was getting out in transition. He was playing defense. He still shot 53% from the field. Like, he did have bursts and he did have quite a few turnovers. But overall, I still think Jaylen Brown was the second best player in that game. In the game 1, I feel like he was the first best overall player in the game. And I feel like he's just been the most consistent in those first 2 games to where he's the finals MVP front runner right now still.
I'll give you that. I'm not going to say it's completely locked in, but I'll give you that, though.
Found some shit I love to do, so I can live comfortable. Searching for a peace of mind, need that when it's time to rhyme. Perfect in every line, any chance I get, and I know it takes time, but I will never quit.